everyone. Welcome to the GoAway Pro Industry Insider webinar series. Today, we are doing I think it's a follow-up or it's a precursor. I can't remember the order now. The point is we've just done a webinar with our guest here, Eva Fernandez from Valencia in Spain. And the podcast was really, really cool. I learned a lot there. So I suggest anyone, if you haven't listened to it yet, you go back or go to or wait for it. I can't remember the order. And you listen to our podcast, really informative. And a bit more casual, a bit more sort of conversational about all the things you can do in and around Valencia and why it's such a really good choice for Spain. Today in our webinar series, though, we're going to do a little bit more what I term the meat and potatoes, or the core information about Valencia for you, our travel professionals, so you can learn, again, more of the meat and potatoes of positioning Valencia versus some of its bigger neighbours within Spain, and also positioning Spain amongst its bigger neighbours within Europe. And all the ins and outs of selling destination. So I'd like to welcome to our webinar series, Eva Fernandez. She looks after the area of Valencia, the tourism board there. And I assume, unless things have changed from last time we spoke, Eva, you are coming to us again from Valencia, Spain?
Yes, that's it. Hi, Don, and hi, everyone listening to this episode. I'm very happy to be with you today. Yes, I'm in Valencia City in Spain. And the idea today is to share with you the main information about Valencia City so that you have all relevant tools to offer the city to your clients and customers as an ideal destination for their next holiday breaks.
Okay. So without further ado, I will pass the webinar over to Eva so she can present to you. I'll make some notes as we're chatting, and I'll come back at the end of the presentation and hit Eva up with any questions that may come from the webinar presentation, and we'll also touch on contact details at the end should anyone have further information. So, Eva, over to you and to Valencia.
So, Don, thank you so much again. Today, as I said before, I'm bringing all the information you need to offer Valencia to your customers as an ideal destination for their holiday breaks. Valencia is a Mediterranean-friendly open city where you can find a mixture between culture, gastronomy, innovation, and Mediterranean lifestyle. It's the ideal holiday break for most of your customers who visit Spain, and ideally you can combine it with other cities in Spain. So before we start going into detail, I would like you to see this video that I think it's going to be very useful for you to understand better what the destination has to offer.
Things in Valencia are incredibly thrilling. Valencia is here, on the coveted Mediterranean coast. Valencia is home to 20 kilometers of beach and lucky to have sunshine year-round with an average annual temperature of 19 degrees. It is the third largest city in Spain, with an airport conveniently close to the city centre, which connects it to many destinations. And that's without mentioning its port, high-speed train, and its wide range of hotels. It has tradition and modernity. And it already has 3 UNESCO World Heritage tourist attractions. Valencia gets around on wheels. It gets around in a different way by being sustainable, breathing fresh air, and walking on green ground. In Valencia, tastes are cultivated between stars and locally sourced products that go everywhere. Valencia is inclusive and accessible. Valencia is a place to feel completely free. Because only here can you find the best mix to bring out the best in yourself.
The more you love, the more you live.
Now that we have seen all this information, let me get into detail what's the most important or relevant details about Valencia city. Here you've got some numbers about the city. It's the third largest city in Spain. It's located in the Mediterranean coast, and as you can see, it's a top destination with a Mediterranean climate, more than 22 kilometers of beaches, an average temperature of 19 degrees a year, and lots of important attractions for visitors who want to come to Valencia. It's an international destination with lots of visitors coming from Europe mainly, but also from America. And it offers a good range of opportunities to try to arrange the best plannings according to your likes. How to arrive? Well, Valencia, as I said, is in the Mediterranean coast, below Barcelona and western Madrid. It's connected with most international European cities, and with America, we have a direct flight connection with Montreal, Canada. But additionally, there is a very good connectivity between Valencia and Madrid by fast train. You can travel from one city to the other in less than 2 hours. So for those visitors who want to come to Spain and enter Spain through Madrid, it's an ideal combination, combining both cities, Valencia and Madrid. In this image, you can see a map, a very schematic map of all different attractions in the city. So as you can see, they are not concentrated in just one part. So they are spread all over the city. We have a maritime area with the marina, with a promenade. And then we've got a lot of green spaces around the city, and a central one, which is the Turia Gardens, which is a 9 kilometers long park that crosses the city from west to east, and where you can see all different attractions in the city. If you are coming by plane, let me say that Valencia Airport is just 10 kilometers away from the city center, and it's connected to the city center by metro. Let's get into the details. As I said, Valencia, it's an historical city. It's got more than 2,000 years of history, with lots of examples of all the civilizations that were in the city, from Romans to Arabs to Visigothic, and all different civilizations. You can see it in the history, in the heritage that you can see in the old town, like the cathedral, like the central market, with different remains of all the, as I said, the civilizations that were in the city. But also, it offers the contrast between the tradition and the avant-garde. Valencia has lots of examples of new architectonic examples, like the Vélez events that you can see in the picture, or the City of Arts and Sciences that I will mention afterwards. It's got 5 UNESCO Heritage Tourist attractions, which is the Lonja de Valencia, the Silk Exchange, the Water Court del Tribunal de las Aguas, the Fallas de Valencia, which is the festival, the Mediterranean diet with the paella as an icon, and also the manual bell ringing. You can see all this information in the pictures that you have in this slide. Valencia is also a UNESCO Creative City in Design category. You can see main examples of this creativity in the traditions such as the Fallas Festival or the craftsmanship or the local festivities. They are all examples of all the traditions that are in the city from they are 2,000 years old. So they are very good examples of this love for the traditions. But we also have new aspects in terms of cultural openings, like for example the new Hortensia Herrero Center, which is the latest addition to the museum offer. Valencia is a city with an important offer in museums and monuments. This is one of the latest one to open, which offers a great collection in modern art. And also is a Mediterranean musical stage. We have a concert calendar all year round. We have lots of bands, schools, and music societies. In fact, Valencia is member of the Music Cities Network, and it's the European headquarters of the Berkeley College that I'm sure that you know very well. Let me go into the part of the experiences, because I'm sure that when you have a client with you, they, apart from getting to know what can I see in the city, they also demand what can I do in the city to have a more first-hand experience. So let me say that all that part that I've been explaining before can be experienced through tours led by an architect or an experienced person. How to learn Fallas figure, as you can see in the picture, or even participate in a Valencian ceramic workshop. On the other side, let me move into the Mediterranean aspect of the city. Valencia, as I said, it's located in the Mediterranean coast, and we also have a Mediterranean lifestyle where we care a lot about our living conditions and trying to have healthy habits. We usually eat seasonal and local food. Valencia City, it's in a location where you can find most of the products that are part of our diet in the local pantries that we have around. As I said, it's a Mediterranean city, so we have the Mediterranean Sea where we get all the fresh seafood. We also have a green belt around the city, which is the Horta de Valencia, where we grow different seasonal vegetables. And also we have the Albufera Natural Park, where we have the rice growing area. So as we also have special fishes from no salt water. Those products are the basis of our diet. As I said, is seasonal diet based on the seasonal products. They are available at the local markets. We have like the main market, which is the central market that you have seen in the image. But then we have different local markets in every neighborhood in the city, which allow you to get in touch with those seasonal products, and you can incorporate them in the diet, in your meals every day. However, as a visitor, whenever you go to any of the restaurants, you will see that those seasonal products are also the basis of the offer they have for different visitors. I'm sure that you know that the typical Spanish dish is la paella, but I'm not quite sure if you knew that the origin of the paella was in Valencia, especially in it was in Valencia, especially in the Albufera Natural Park, and it was created with the products that they had around. As I said, the paella, the Albufera Natural Park is the place where we grow the rice. So as the basis of this dish, but also they introduce all the elements they had around, the vegetables, the meat from the farms. So that was a local invention that has become universal throughout the years. But as I said before, additionally to our diet, Valencia also has a Mediterranean lifestyle, and we try to cultivate healthy habits. It's a great outdoor sport stadium. It hosts international sport competitions like the marathon or half marathon, the motorcycle GP, or the Ironman. But it's also an ideal destination to practice different sports. In fact, the geographical situation of the city and the geographical characteristics make the city an ideal place to train for individual trainings and to get the best marks for professional sports. Again, going back to the experiential area, why not suggesting your visitors to learn firsthand the Valencian gastronomy offer with led by a Michelin chef, visiting, for example, the Central Market, which is the largest food market in Europe, or learn how to cook a paella and participating in the process of buying the products. And then also using the products in the paella and learning the technique to cook the paella. And also in terms of sports, and as a Mediterranean city, it's an ideal destination to practice water sports if you like them at any time of the year. And finally, the last part of the city, or the last part of the presentation, is the accessible and green aspects of the city. Valencia was declared in 2024 European Green City, which was a recognition of all the efforts the city of Valencia has been doing to have better living conditions for citizens and also for visitors. And that includes the protection of the nature and biodiversity, to promote sustainable mobility with more than 200 kilometers of bike lines in the city, to promote, as I explained, local and healthy food coming from the Mediterranean pantry that we have around the city. Being aware about our climate mission, Valencia was the first city in the world to measure the effects of the tourism in terms of carbon footprint, to make sure that we are in the right path and take the actions necessary to have better living conditions, not only for citizens, but also for visitors. And finally, Valencia is a city shared with our visitors. We are a very open and welcoming city. We love visitors come and join us to enjoy the city, our traditions, our way of life, and also being part of them, unless for a few days. At the same time, we also appreciate the respect for our authenticity, our traditions, and our way of life. As to make sure that all the visitors get to know all the green aspects of the city, we have created different green routes that are available in Google. We have four, one based in the healthy food, other in mobility, other the green infrastructures, and then the one which is a simplified one in the city center for those who want to concentrate just in the old town. As I said, they are very easy to follow. They are available on the Google Maps and are that they are a very important or a true touristic tool for all the visitors. And then going back to the experiences, imagine that you can explain all those things and then you can offer your different clients to do a bike tour through the rice paddies, for example, or do guided tours on food. Let me say that Valencia is a very flat city, as I said before. We have a lot of pedestrian areas in the old town, so it's ideal for guided tours on food. For young people, for families, for seniors. And additionally, remember that we are in a Mediterranean atmosphere. So 19 degrees is the average temperature of the city all over the year. Another possibility is to make a boat trip in the Albufera Lake to observe all different bird watching and also change the perspective and coming from a city into a complete natural environment, which is a big change that happens in almost 10 kilometers. The Albufera Natural Park is just 10 kilometers from the city center. So imagine what a change in just a short space. And finally, you can also be part of the protection of the green spaces, making any of the environmental volunteering programs that we have in the city. For this 2026, we have new things that I want to show you in the following slides. The first one is that Valencia is the city of the Holy Grail that it was used by Christ in the Last Supper. It's a Christian, very valorated piece. And this year we celebrate the Jubilee year of the Holy Chalice, which means that pilgrims from all over the world come to the city in a unique and spiritual journey. Also, as part of our being open and diverse, Valencia will be hosting this year the Gay Games Edition 2026. It's a very important event which basis is the sport, diversity and inclusion. Those Gay Games will take part in Valencia in the month of June. Venue Roche Arena is the new venue that we have in the city, which is not only a sport venue, but also a venue for major events, music and concerts are in the schedule for this year as part or as an example of how important is for Valencia City the music. Also, as I said, Valencia has a very important historic heritage. One of the masterpieces of that heritage is the Santos Juanes Church, which is a masterpiece of the Baroque. After a big restoration, this Baroque piece has opened its doors this year, beginning of 2026, and it's possible to see it and at the same time see a fantastic lighting show that happens inside the church. So it's another way of being part of this cultural approach to the origins of the city. The same as the new openings for two important museums. One devoted to the Sorolla painter. We are bringing here the collection of the Hispanic Society that is currently in New York. So that collection is going to travel to Valencia and will be here for several years. So it's a good opportunity to see this new museum that will be opened by the end of the year, same as a new museum for Valdez, which will make Valencia art offer even more important. And finally, as I said, Valencia, it's very it's very committed with the accessibility and the possibility to create good conditions for either visitors and inhabitants. Being accessible is in the core business of the local government. So we try to move toward a city without limits and open for all type of visitors. So, in short, Valencia, it's a city to live, to enjoy, and visit. It's very close to other major cities in Spain. It's ideal to combine with other Spanish cities when you visit Spain. As I said before, very easy to combine through the train. If, for example, if you enter in Spain through Madrid, and let me say that these are my contact details. I know this is a lot of information. Maybe you will have a lot of questions when your customers come to you and you offer the city as a new option of having the Spanish experience. So whenever you have any question or whatever, please feel free to contact me. I will be more than happy in helping you. And just before saying goodbye, let me leave you with an emotional video that will show you why Valencia is more than a city. It's a city to live in and to enjoy. Thanks.
Better when the sun's out. Better when the sun's out and you're here. Better with a breeze on your face, the market garden at your doorstep, and sea salt clinging to your skin. Better in this light. You glow. Better nights. Better days. And better this life. Valencia. Life done better.
Well, thank you, Eva. That was really, really informative. And as I mentioned at the beginning of our webinar, the more deep logistical things that our travel professionals will probably be asked or may need to know about when looking at Valencia for one of their clients. Sorry. I've got some questions for you off the back of your webinar. As you mentioned, the city of Valencia is on the Mediterranean coast, and you mentioned arrivals. We got into some depth on that in the podcast as well, how to get into the country. I would assume because it's on the coast, obviously arriving into Valencia via boat is an option as well, be it a large cruise or even like a sailboat or something like that.
Yeah, it's an option to arrive in Valencia in cruises. We have cruises stopovers in the city. So we have cruises coming from Malaga and Alicante, and they stop in Valencia. And also some of them departing from Barcelona, they also have a stopover in Valencia. So in that case, you've got the option to visit Valencia in a few hours. We also have departures from Valencia, so
That
it's
was my next
also
question.
another possibility. Coming to Valencia or through Madrid, for example, visit the city for a few days, and then start a cruise through the Mediterranean area, including we've got some of them, including also France and Italy. So it's a good opportunity to mix your combine different types of holidays.
Right. And the reason I bring that up is we have many of our travel professionals out there are cruise focused agents, and they will come to Goa for their shore excursions pre and post. So obviously, they may have ports of call being Valencia or the combinations of Barcelona and Valencia, or even if they're not on a cruise, they might want to do a waterborne activity from Valencia, and they could take a day or an overnight trip from Valencia out and back. Something that we discussed in the podcast was the perception, or not, no, it's not so much a perception. The fact that particularly in Europe, the big sites, and this is not just Spain, all countries, are getting very, very busy. I just saw some new rules and regulations for parts of Italy coming into 2026 due to the numbers of travelers. The press here in North America hasn't been shown for probably 6 or 8 months, but there was a time last year where some news coming out of Spain in general was locals pushing back against the amount of tourists in town, all that type of thing. And we discussed, so I have 2 questions here for you. One, for our travel professionals, if a client comes to them and says, I want to go to Spain, and the client really doesn't know much about Spain, they're probably going to say, I'm looking at Barcelona or Madrid, and maybe they say Valencia, or maybe they don't say Valencia. How do you suggest to the travel professionals that they differentiate Valencia to the other 2 big cities, or make it different, or I don't want to say more attractive because they're all beautiful in their own right, but what is the draw to Valencia in comparison to Barcelona and Madrid?
I mean, they are different cities, obviously. Valencia and Madrid are quite different. Valencia has the Mediterranean side of Spain, whereas Madrid is more central, more cultural, more... It's different. Whereas in Valencia, since we are Mediterranean, we are more... we prefer living outdoors and having a lifestyle outdoors, together with the possibility to combine city and the beach. Whereas in Madrid, you can do that. If you tell me what's the difference between Valencia and Barcelona, which is a very common question, we have both. We are Mediterranean cities, but Barcelona is a big metropolitan city, whereas Valencia is smaller, unique, and it's easier to contact with local people. That's the main thing. So it's easy to reach everywhere. You've got the opportunity to visit different places, but it doesn't take so long to take from one place to the other. So in that sense, it's easier to live in Valencia. It's more affordable at the same time. And in terms of attractions, it's got different things. I mean, in Valencia, you have big number of gardens. You've got the City of Arts and Sciences. You've got a natural park just within the limits of the area of Valencia, just 10 kilometers from the city center, where in Barcelona you've got other attractions. In that case, my recommendation would be, if your client is looking for something attractive, but easygoing, and experience the authentic Mediterranean lifestyle, including a big number of attractions, Valencia should be the option.
Something that we discussed in the podcast was why Valencia is very, very popular. And, people do know about it. Some people don't. As I say, I learned a lot about it through both these conversations, webinar and podcast. Something you did mention, though, is comparatively speaking to the other big cities, while Valencia is popular, does have travelers coming through, you were saying that the feeling when in Valencia is that you don't feel as crowded as you may in some other big cities, be it in Spain or be it in Europe. You get this sort of sense of it's not the right word here, but freedom, space amongst yourselves, amongst other travelers. And since our podcast, I spoke to a couple of friends of mine who had an exchange student here in Toronto, Canada, and they went back recently to visit her. And I didn't realize at the time she actually came from Valencia. And unprompted by myself, that's exactly what they said as well. They felt the openness of Valencia compared to some of the other big cities. Is that, I know we had this conversation, but would you like to just expand on that a little bit as well?
Just I would say that Valencia, it's very open, very modern, but at the same time, it's got the spirit of an old town with the idea with the idea that we are very happy about our history and we want to keep that. And we try to make to be very welcoming to all the travelers and visitors, make them part of our daily life. If you come to Valencia, for example, as a visitor, it's very easy to meet local people. Whereas if you go to other cities, bigger cities with bigger number of tourists, you know that sometimes you've got like touristic areas and then local areas. That doesn't happen in Valencia at this moment.
Yeah. At this moment,
we are taking care of that, and we're very on top of this because we consider this is something very unique for us, and we want to keep it. Whenever we do any kind of promotion, whenever we do anything, we always keep the idea that the citizen has to be in the center of our strategy, which means that as citizens, we love welcoming visitors as long as they are part of the city. They respect where we are, they respect our way of life, and that's it. I mean, they've got also, they must respect them, because if not, they are not welcoming for us.
Yeah, basic common courtesies working both ways is about any type of travel for sure. My other friend, who we discussed this in the podcast, she's been back to Spain about 3 times and twice, and she's going back again to Valencia for her Spanish lessons. She chooses to go over. She Airbnbs it, doesn't book through Go Away, unfortunately, but she Airbnbs it. But my point of this is that the city of Valencia is very welcoming and very conducive to people looking for longer stays versus just maybe a cruise stopover or a 3 or 4 day stop. Looking at long stays is something Valencia is very well geared for.
And we also have, especially for Americans, we have long stay visitors to Valencia, and they usually, I think, they prefer the parts of the city close to the sea. So I can see lots of Americans staying by that part of the city, and being able to choose the best activities. I mean, and that's something very particular, because someone might like doing a lot of nautical sea activities, where others prefer being visiting the different city markets and looking for the local food, and then learn how to cook that local products to try the local offer, gastronomic offer. So that really depends on each visitor. The good news is that in Valencia, you have the possibility to adapt your program to your stay and your likes or dislikes. And together with the Valencia city, we have a lot of cities or towns near the city very attractive, which make you also the opportunity to do day trips and make an extended visit in the city, including that hinterland area, that great Valencia area, which is also very, very interesting.
For someone who is doing a short stay, 3 or 4 days, or a long stay, and they haven't chosen to do Spanish lessons, obviously the main language in Spain and Valencia is Spanish. People who may not have any Spanish or very limited Spanish, they'll still be able to get around and communicate using public transport, shopping, markets, that type of thing. It's not a huge barrier, is it?
considering that you are not using any translator or anything like that.
Yes, of course.
As I say, we are a modern city. We are very used to have international visitors and used to have international inhabitants. So each time is easier to communicate, even if you're not a Spanish expert or you're not fluent in Spanish. I must say that there are parts of the city where maybe it's a bit more difficult. But as I say, thank God we've got Google and all those tools that help us in our daily life.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of it's a fading question, that one, because of modern technology. Yeah, you can just stand there with your Google, with your phone or whatever app you've got, and
Yeah.
get on with it. So yeah, I just thought I'd ask that because it may come from one of our clients. As Valencia is a large Spanish city, European city, I'm sure I'll get you to state the obvious here, but I'll ask the question. If anyone has a group, be it a recreational group going over to Valencia to sail, to paint, to photograph, or someone has a conference to arrange or to attend, the city of Valencia is, I'm sure, well geared for small groups and large groups.
Yeah. We have a lot of experience in either hosting big events as small events, also groups, large or small groups. So it's very easy. We've got the Valencian trade is it's a very professional trade. You've got all type of offers of local companies helping those groups to come to Valencia, either in accommodation or in the different activities. So I would suggest to keep in touch with the Visit Valencia Tourist Board, and they've got any questions, so they need any contacts for any local company helping those big groups or helping those event organizers to organize any kind of event. We are more than happy to help it. That's why we are here for it.
And of course, the Go Away Groups Department would work in partnership with any local operator in respect to large groups. And a group to Go Away is 10 or more people on the same itinerary, and we can handle groups up to 500, 1,000 if anyone out there does have a group of that size. And again, in partnership with the local authorities and event organisers, we can make that all happen for you. On the point of local contacts, you did put up your contact at the end of your presentation. Is there a website that people can check out which is dedicated to Valencia? Is there a training program that you offer for Valencia itself?
We have the website is visitvalencia.com. It's the professional, well, it's the touristic website, but also there is a professional part where you can get all the resources. However, for any special tool that you need, I would prefer to contact directly so that we can have a tailored help or support to the agents. I think it's more effective.
Yep, no problems at all. And the Go Away Pro Travel Academy also has a module on Spain. It has a mention of Valencia. We don't go into the detail that we have in this webinar or the recent podcast, but there's that. So piggybacking that. So to wrap it all up, combined with our podcast, which I recommend you listen to, our webinar that you're taking part in today, the tools and training courses the Valencia tourism site has itself, the tools that the Go Away Pro Travel Academy has, your experts here at Go Away, your destination specialists who know Spain inside out, and also in particular Valencia, as well as the other big cities as well. And of course, you have the direct contact of Eva to reach out to with all these contacts. There is no reason why you shouldn't or can't put Valencia at the top of your knowledge list, and in turn at the top of your itinerary when looking at an itinerary either dedicated to the city itself and or the greater region, country, therefore, of Spain. Eva, is there anything else you'd like to leave our travel professionals with before we say goodbye?
Just thank you so much for the invitation. I really appreciate your attention today. I really think that you have a good opportunity to offer your clients a good destination, not very well known still in the States. So it's a good opportunity to offer new things, but with the warranty of offering top destination with top quality and one of the best cities to live in the world, as we've had the awards recently as the best city to live in the world.
There you go. That's a nice way to finish it. The best city in the world to live. And as I mentioned, and I'll say it again today, and also in the podcast, I knew very little about Valencia in general, so it's enlightened me. And it sounds like I'd say one of the, again, you can't take anything away from the other big, famous, beautiful cities of Barcelona, Madrid, plus all the other regions of Spain as well. But Valencia is one that should not be missed on your best of itinerary when designing a trip to Spain for your clients. So again, on that note, Eva, thank you very much for your time once again. And to our travel partners out there, as always, thank you for your time. We know how busy you are. And until next time.
Bye.